Being a manifesting generator, I feel like we get misunderstood a lot. As I've mentioned in previous manifesting generator videos, we move on quickly, we move on fast, we master things fast, we go all in 100%, and then we want to learn something else. And that is what our soul came here to do. Our soul came here to master a lot of different things. As MGs, I really believe that we live life to the fullest. We're here to experience it all. And a lot of people who misunderstand MGs, they don't understand where we're coming from. They don't understand why we feel we have to pivot or change or shift, or we want to just do something new. We get bored of doing the same thing and talking about the same thing all the damn time. We want to express and find new things. But there are a couple other things I want to go a little bit deeper on with human design that I've learned, and I just find it really resonates. Now, astrology is super different from human design, right? Astrology is so amazing for predictive timing techniques. It's so great for being able to know when things are going to happen, when are things going to end, when are cycles in your life going to start and begin, where the best places in the world for live, where in the world are the best places for you to travel, live, and be. Hello, my relocation astrology course is amazing. If you haven't started learning relocation astrology yet, I highly recommend joining my courses. My in-depth program, Relocation Astrology, you can find down below, but also the GTFO workshop if you want a short and quick 3.5-hour workshop, very affordable price to learn how to move abroad, where to go, and where are your best home places in the world. You can find all that in my GTFO workshop down below. I'll include the link in the description. Astrology is really great for understanding these more nuanced things like timing and where you should live. But human design is really helpful for helping you understand how you should approach taking action in your life. Energy. How do you respond to life? How do you respond to people? How should you make decisions in your life? It's leading with your authority. It's leading with your energy and being in alignment with yourself. Now, I'm a big believer that you don't really need human design if you're super connected to your intuition. Like, I trust myself. I've been writing to my intuition since I was a little girl. I'm extremely psychic. I always have been. I'm extremely intuitive, and I've always let that be my superpower. That is my gift. That's what I lead with. 100%. I don't need to learn human design to know how to take action in my life. Like, I already know it. I'm very decisive. I trust myself 100%. However, for those of you who aren't intuitive yet, or haven't developed that trust muscle in your intuition yet, I should say that, if you haven't, then human design is really helpful because it can help you understand how to listen and trust yourself in your nuanced, unique way that is special to you. Now, one of the things I learned with human design is the types of authority. And the two main ones I want to talk about in this video are sacral authority versus emotional authority. And I got really deep into learning this. My friend and I were talking about this. I went to go visit her, and she was telling me about emotional authority and how people with emotional authority, which authority, by the way, is like how you take action. But emotional authority, people who have this placement, which actually they represent 50% of the population. So a lot of people have emotional authority. But your emotions swing with the tides, right? With the waves, right? As an emotional authority, your moods fluctuate and change. And sometimes you might feel like suddenly you're feeling moody, or suddenly you're feeling excited, and it just kind of comes out of nowhere and it just happens. And now let me use an example to kind of differentiate emotional authority. So throughout your day, you might find that your moods change, your emotions change, and this is all happening within you, right? As an emotional authority person, this isn't like some external thing that you're responding to and like you get emotional because of something that happened to you. It's more like there's a natural in your body way that you go through life. Your emotions kind of dictate yes or no. I'll give you an example that's now opposite of this. I am a sacral non-emotional authority. So how I take action in my life is I just do it. I just know immediately. And this can drive people crazy because people will say, what do you want to do next? I'll just know. I don't have to sit on it. I don't have to sit on decisions. I don't have to wait for my emotions to tell me what I want to do. I know it right immediately, right away. And, as someone who's very quick to respond and quick to do the idea that I have, I listen to the sacral. The sacral is guiding me. Is it a yes or a no? I can make the decision fast. Whereas an emotional type, they need to sit. And if they're not feeling emotionally able to take that action, it's best to sit on it. It's best to think about it. It's best to process and take a few days. Say you meet a cute guy in the park and he asks you on a date. You should take a few days to think about if you want to say yes to the date and respond to his text messages, right? If you're a sacral authority, you'll know. You'll just know. You'll know it in your gut. You'll know it in your body. If someone presents options to you, you'll pick it, right? An emotional authority needs to sit and let the emotion unfold. There needs to be an unfolding with an emotional authority type. Whereas with a sacral authority type, there can be a body knowing, a gut, yep, that's it. Done it, got it, right? The other thing about being a non-emotional sacral authority type person that I've learned is that I wake up neutral. So when I wake up in the morning, my energy is neutral. My emotions are neutral. There's no good, there's no bad. I'm just neutral, right? And then outside external events trigger the emotion. And then let's say I go to the coffee shop and there's just a bad vibe in the air. Like I can feel it. The energy, people are giving me a dirty look, or maybe there's just this vibe in the room and you don't know what it is, but you just know it's not a good vibe in here, right? That's sacral, non-emotional authority. We respond because of the energy in the room. And so sacral authority types, they're extremely sensitive. When you hear the word empathic or sensitive to vibes, sensitive to energies, you might be a sacral authority. And so I can walk into a shop, I can walk into a store, I'll be there 5 seconds, I walk out, I know immediately, the vibe's not good in there. And it drives my husband insane because we'll go to a restaurant and I'll just know like, nope, we gotta turn around, we have to go back out. Like I know immediately based on the energy in the room. I can sense people, I can see right through people. I'm also Scorpio rising. I have a no bullshit detector. I can smell fakery a mile away. Sacral, very sensitive to the energy of everyone else, and that triggers their emotional responses, whether they're feeling good or not. And also, on a day-to-day basis, they're neutral. They're just in a neutral energy all day, and depending on what they take in, they're either going up or they're going down. An emotional authority, which represents 50% of the population, by the way, and a lot of people, the emotion comes up within them. It is a natural emotional response that just within us and it arises. And then a sacral authority can be triggered by the emotional energy within other people. And so with emotional authority types, you know, I always say give them a lot of compassion, give them a lot of grace, give them a lot of sympathy and empathy, because they wake up in the morning and they might be in a bad mood and you have no idea why. Maybe an emotional authority type, you know, if they are not responding to your text right away, if they don't have an answer for you, they need to sit with it. Let them be. Let the emotional authorities be. Let them figure it out. Let their emotions, their mood, their days give them the unfolding of the answers, okay? Sacral authority, you can say yes or no. You pretty much know. And if you're ever waffling on a decision, it's a no. It's a no, sacral authority. If you're waffling on a decision and you can't say yes because you're like, maybe, like any kind of physical response or vocal response, like, anything like that, if your voice is responding in that way or your body's like, restriction, constriction, I don't like this, right? You know sacral authority. You know if it's a yes or no, and you can make that decision immediately, quickly, because your body knows. Emotional authority, give them some space. Give them some breathing room. Let them figure this out on their own. And so I really want to talk about this today because it's something I've noticed a lot in my own relationships, my friendships, as I'm learning just for fun a little bit more about human design. I'm exploring these little nuances and things. I definitely don't like human design nearly as much as astrology. Again, I've been studying astrology since high school in 2011. That's my jam, that's my expertise, that's my forte. But I do like playing with human design as a hobby, and I just like expressing myself and sharing what I'm learning and my experiences too with human design, just sharing here on the YouTube channel. But again, don't try to hire me for human design. I'm not an expert at all. And if you want to hire someone, I really recommend Leah Kristen. She's a projector. She's a 3/5 projector over at Aligned. She has a podcast called Aligned, which I'll include the link down below if you want to book a reading with her. Another quick little point I do want to mention with human design is you really want to look at your profile. Your first number and your second number. Like for instance, I'm a 3/5, right? 261. When you're looking at your human design type, your profile is what it's called, those two numbers that you see. The first number is your internal processing, and it's like your identity. It's like who you are, right? It's how you approach the world. Your second number is a lot of how the world sees you or how the world responds to you. So it's kind of like, I like to think of the two numbers as like the first number is your internal self. It's the one you most identify with, and it's like your internal self, right? Let's say you're a snail, right? The snail, the slug part of the snail is the first number. And then the second number is like the exterior, the hard shell. So the shell that's on the snail, right? The shell that's on the slug, that is the second number. I like to think of this as like how the world responds to you, how people respond to you, how people see you. And also it's a huge part of your identity too, but like, it's more about how the world responds to you. And so as an example, I'm a 3-5 in human design, manifesting generator, right? I'm a 3. I identify with a 3 big time. I'm an experimenter. I'm always data collecting, experimenting, trying things, learning from it, and then doing it differently. And then I try this way and I don't like that way, so I do things differently. It's constant experimentation in my world. Life is an experiment. I literally approach life that way, always have. It's how I approach everything in my life, my business, everything. Experimentation. When I was dating, and I dated so many guys before I met my husband, it was like, let's have fun, let's experiment, let's learn, you know? I'm always approaching life from that lens of curiosity, like, how can we learn something from this? But that fifth line essentially is showing like how other people see me. And so the fifth line is big on like being a leader, being a teacher, a guide for other people. People tend to put me on a pedestal, or like they tend to think of me as all knowing, when it's like, I'm just an experimenter over here having fun. But like the 5 is like the leadership, the person that's in the tower kind of like overseeing the world and what's happening, and then goes into the tower, makes something, and then presents itself with something like a solution to people's problems. So that's how the people see me, is like this 5 energy. And it's really important, by the way, for 5s to disappear. Like 5s, you need to let yourself disappear from the public and go away for a while and not always be readily available, because people will get sick of you. And because if you don't live up to the projection that the people, the public have for you, if you don't fit that role of being on that pedestal and being perfect for other people and their imaginations, you will fall from grace. You will fall from that pedestal. And that's why it's very important for 3-5s to just disappear every once in a while. To be like, all right, people are good, I can go away now. Or like, oh, there's a problem, okay, let me go in my cave and like figure out how I can solve this for people, I'll be back soon. Give yourself breathing room between you and others in your life, the people you're dating, right? Your projection field. So guys may project on your body, your image, who you are. They might project an ideal on you, like you're a romanticized figure in their imaginations. And it's not your fault, 5s. Those people are projecting on you. That's their problem, not yours. So don't ever think that it's a you issue ever, 5 types. That's a them problem. But the problem is you need to take the action to cut off that pedestaling projection field and give yourself breathing room from those people that will project upon you. And so that's something I've really gotten a lot into as a 3-5, is like learning how to navigate life from my experimenter lens and giving myself a lot of grace and empathy when I want to try new things and play and experiment with new things, but also realizing I'm a projection field. You know, people are constantly coming after me in good and bad ways. And so And there's a beauty to being a 5, absolutely, but you need to take the action to cut off that projection field when necessary, because people can be disappointed in you for no reason, because they, again, built up a vision, a romanticized ideal in their minds of who you are. You can solve their problems. You're the leader, the guru that can help them. No. We don't do gurus around here. No. Everyone's their own hero. Everyone's their own guru. If you have a 5 in your profile, your job as a 5 is to constantly manage expectations from people. You need to constantly be setting the bar, setting the boundaries, setting the expectations, like do not put me in a projection field. And if you're gonna do it, I need to disappear from your life for a little bit so we can cut that relationship dynamic off. This expectations, this projection field is such a huge part of being a 5. And the sooner you know that, the sooner life gets a lot easier for you. Let's just put it that way. I just wanted to share a little bit more information on being an MG. I came on here again. I wanted to make another video about my journey as an MG because I find all of this really just resonates so much with me. This is constantly happening in my own life. You know, as a leader, as a public person on the internet, people are constantly coming to me to solve their problems, which I love. I love that. I love being a leader and a guide and helping other people, but I also have to constantly reiterate to people that you are your own guide. You are your own hero. I can help you, but you've got to make your decisions and lead your own life. And I think that's the energy we've got to step into with Neptune and Aries. This is the energy that is the future, and the sooner we do this, the better. I remember I wrote my first book called Slow Living, which if you haven't got my book, it's a great one. And I remember in one of the first drafts, I can't remember if I still have this chapter in the book. I think I do, but it's all about be your own influence. And I remember how I wrote in this book during, when I first wrote it and I sent it to my publishers, I wrote in the book how, influencers are dead. Like there's no influencer culture anymore. That's done. That's over. Like people aren't going to influencers anymore because we're realizing we have to take our own power back. And I remember my editor was like, this is not true. There's tons of influencers. Like influencer culture is alive and well. Well, I was ahead of the time. I was years ahead of the time, because now, get ready. Influencer culture is dead. It's dying, and it will continue to die as we see this transit progress of Neptune and Aries. But it's always interesting how I'm always ahead of what's gonna be big or what's coming years from now, but sometimes I'm a little too early before it catches on, the wave catches on. And so yeah, little prediction for you. Influencer culture's dying, it's dead. No one cares about celebrities anymore. All right, all this information said, I just want to share my journey. If you ever wanted to go deeper on astrology with me, take my courses, learn from me, my workshops, or book your own reading with one of my specialized trained astrocartography specialists, click the links down below. I'll set all that in the description if you want to learn more. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you have a magical day and happy astro travels. I'll see you in the next one.